welcome to Kindful Living. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Zara and I'm a mama to 2 boys under the age of 2. I'm also a child and family therapist, and I make videos on how to live a more kind and mindful life. In today's video, I will share some tips on how to squeeze self-care into the busiest of schedules. Now, some of you might be thinking, doesn't squeezing in self-care defy the very concept of self-care? Shouldn't self-care be something that's intentional and purposefully planned into our schedules? While I agree to some extent, we're all really busy and leading busy lives, so something is better than nothing when it comes to self-care anyways. After all, we need to be kind to ourselves and mindful of meeting our own needs if we value being kind and mindful to others and the world that we live in. As a mother of 2, I know how difficult it is to create a schedule, let alone to follow a schedule. And having chosen a career in the helping profession, I know how difficult it is to give of yourself to others when your needs are not met and your cup is empty. There are 1,440 minutes in every day, and I don't know about you, but I couldn't get through them if I only could practice self-care once or twice a week or on a monthly basis. So the purpose of this video is to share some micro-practices that I incorporate into my daily routines so that I'm able to stay connected to my mind, my heart, my body, and my spirit, as well as to stay motivated, refreshed, and happy. I do want to add that I think it's very important for all of us to find larger chunks of time purposefully in our schedule to incorporate self-care activities that take more planning as well as more time, such as exercise, going out with friends and family, engaging in hobbies, and doing other things that make us happy. In fact, I got the idea to do this video while I was waiting for a massage therapy treatment earlier this week. And I couldn't help but think of how much of a luxury it seems now to be able to go for something like a massage. In my former life, before I became a mother, I easily found time to exercise at least once, if not twice a day, as well as to regularly get facials, engage in hydrotherapy, go to yoga classes, hang out with friends and family. Funnily enough, in those days, I thought I was stressed and I didn't have enough time for myself. Little did I know what motherhood had in store for me. When I need self-care the most, I actually have the least time for it. So this video is about how I incorporate self-care practices into my daily routines so that I can meet my needs, stay connected to my mind, my heart, my body, and my spirit, and take care of myself. My hope is that by the end of this video, that you will learn about a few new kindful self-care practices that you too can try out and hopefully incorporate into your daily routines. Let's begin by talking about my morning routines. So I try to fit in a few self-care practices before my children wake up. However, this isn't always possible because I do have a 4-month-old and he's not yet on a consistent schedule. If I'm not able to complete these self-care activities before my kids wake up, I try to complete them in the earlier part of the morning, and sometimes I include my children in them as well. The first thing I do when I wake up every morning is I sit upright with my legs crossed in my bed and I take a few moments to just breathe very deeply. Although there are many ways to meditate, I really enjoy breathing meditation because it literally forces me to keep focused in the moment. If I have any thoughts of yesterday's worries, or if I'm planning or anxious about anything that's coming up in the future, I simply focus on the moment and my breath. I do this for 5 minutes and then I'll say my prayers and I set an intention for the day. After this, I spend a few minutes cuddling with my fur baby Einstein in my bed. Depending on the day and if my partner has taken our fur baby Einstein out for a walk, I may go outside and get some fresh air while walking Einstein. I really enjoy getting out and getting some fresh air first thing in the morning because it invigorates me. There are way too many benefits of getting fresh air for me to list all of them, but some of them include improved organ functioning, like our digestive system, our cardiovascular system, cleaning our lungs, detoxifying our body. But the best part for me is that when I get fresh air, it literally changes my mood right away and gives me a burst of energy. Never mind the fact that it helps me remember that I'm a small piece in a very large puzzle. Being surrounded by nature and the trees reminds me how lucky I am to be alive and to be a part of this beautiful world. Although we live in the city, our home is surrounded by a very beautiful natural landscape, so it always makes me really happy and pleases all my senses to be able to get out and get some fresh air. Then when I get inside, I will make myself either mermaid juice or a green juice, and I alternate these on different days. Most of you should know what green juice is. It's basically a powder made of different superfoods. I take this with coconut water, but I'm guessing some of you might not have heard of mermaid juice. So what mermaid juice is spirulina powder mixed with water, lemon juice, apple cider vinegar, and some maple syrup. After this, I'll begin to prepare breakfast for myself and my toddler. Prior to becoming a mother, I was not a breakfast person, but I learned very quickly that if I didn't eat something in the beginning of the day when I could, I might not eat anything for the rest of the day. So I'll prepare breakfast for me and my son, and I'll usually wait for him to wake up for us to eat it together. But some days I am super hungry, I am nursing, so I will eat it and then eat some fruit or a light snack while he eats his breakfast. These are the ways that I take care of myself in the morning so that I can start my day off on the right note. Now that I'm a parent and on maternity leave at that, I hardly commute anywhere without my children. But in the odd instance that I am in the car driving alone, these are the self-care practices that I engage in to make my commutes as kindful as possible. Firstly, I try to avoid listening to the news on the radio. I especially try to avoid the news on days that I'm feeling anxious or worried or upset, because the radio has a tendency to over-sensationalize the news stories that they report. So when I'm driving, I usually listen to audiobooks or to podcasts that I find inspiring or uplifting, but more and more nowadays, I am finding myself driving in silence. I am constantly inundated with noise, happy noise at that, but noise nonetheless at home. So I find that I really like to revel in silence, to just sit in my car and to be surrounded by nothing but silence. I find it really soothing, and I find that it helps to calm my mind and my body. On other occasions, I will make phone calls to my friends and family to connect with the people that I love and that love me, and that's also a way that I'm able to take care of myself and my needs, because it reminds me of who I am, where I come from, who I belong to, and who I matter to. While I'm out and when I used to work, anytime that I'm seated really for a long period of time, I've made it a habit to get up off of my chair every 45 minutes to an hour. And I actually used to set alarms when I was at work for every hour on the hour. And if I would miss it, I would delay it, but I would always make sure I got this practice in. And the practice is simply getting up and stretching or walking around for 5 minutes. And I usually alternate between walking and stretching. I move away from my desk when I do this, or move away from wherever I am seated, so that I can not only get a change of scenery, but I can avoid stiffness, as well as all the health issues that are part and parcel of sitting too much. Let's talk evening routines at our house. So with 2 boys under the age of 2, evenings are crazy because there is a lot more to be done than the time usually seems to allow. But in order to make the evening time as calming and as soothing for all of us as possible, we always have soothing music playing in the background on a low volume, but it's there. So we sometimes listen to Buddhist meditation music, or we'll listen to the sound of rain or to waterfalls, and we all really enjoy that. We take turns choosing the music that we will listen to in the background, and I'll usually have the diffuser going as well, so we diffuse a lot of essential oils in our home. Usually lavender, because that is safe and that's a very calming and soothing oil. Before bedtime is also very good for getting everyone into the mood for sleep. But make sure, for those of you that do diffuse oils, that you do your research to find out what's safe for young children, for any medical issues that you might be suffering in your home, and as well if you have fur babies, to make sure that the oils that you are diffusing are safe for them. So in the evening, we usually try to eat dinner as a family, but that's not always possible. But we will sit together, and then we'll complete the kids' hygiene routine. And then at the end of the night, before we put the kids to bed, we all hang out on the couch and cuddle for 10-15 minutes. We read stories, we enjoy each other's company. I really look forward to this time at the end of the day. It's a time where we get to all be united and connected, and we get to remind ourselves of why we work so hard the whole entire day. We get to spend time together as a family, and I love every minute of it. I soak it all in before we put our babies to bed. So although it's really tempting to go on my phone and to surf social media or to check out recipes, as soon as my kids go to sleep, I try to make it a point to quickly check my phone and then to get in at least 30 minutes of exercise every night. So when I'm able to, I'll leave the house, I'll go to a yoga class or an aerobics class or to the gym. But when I'm not able to, I'll work out at home, either on the treadmill or I'll go outside for a run. Some days when I don't have the energy to even do any of that, I will simply do some candlelit yoga. It's something that I began just a few months ago, but I absolutely love it. I just turn off all the lights. I'll put on a candle, an aromatherapy candle if I have one. And then I'll just do some candlelit yoga. On days when I don't have the energy to do the yoga, I'll just put on a candle and I'll do some stretching. I find it is really, really relaxing for me to have that time where I'm not living in my head, where I'm using my body and I'm helping to improve my health so that I'm as strong as I can be for my boys. I also have been spending that time to complete guided meditations, and that's something that I found has helped me to get better sleep at night. I will do a meditation usually, and then I'll make myself a glass of tea, which is something I drink every night. Love tea. So I'll usually make myself a glass of tea, and then I'll take a shower. When I take a shower, I like to use visualization techniques. I'll imagine the water washing off all my worries of the day, all the problems that I've encountered. I'll imagine the beads of water rolling off all the stress and all the worries and all the things that didn't go right. I really like using visualization techniques. I find that they're helpful. When I'm able to visualize the outcomes that I want to obtain, it makes it a lot easier to obtain those outcomes. After I take a shower, I'll spend a few minutes writing in my journal where I scribble down the highlights of my day, thoughts that maybe made me ponder or that I want to think about some more. And I always jot down a few things that I'm grateful for. That's something that has really helped me to also be more kind to others as well as to myself. That's how I incorporate self-care into my daily routines. It's simple, it doesn't take a lot of time, and because I have been practicing these mini self-care routines for a while now, it's almost automatic. But these are small changes that helps to reduce stress, makes us feel happier, more content with our lives, more satisfied, which is the intention of self-care. So like I said, as much as I think it's important for all of us to find time in our schedules for more time-consuming self-care activities such as getting massages or going to the gym or hanging out with friends, I think it's really, really important to be able to incorporate some of these micro practices, because then we feel rejuvenated throughout the day, and when life has its way of getting to us, it doesn't bog us down, that we are able to remain resilient because we're constantly taking care of ourselves and our needs. Before we wrap up, I just wanted to share some tips for how parents and caregivers can teach young children about self-care, so that not only are they able to allow you to practice self-care, but so that they can also join you in taking care of themselves and their needs as well. A book that I want to share that I find has been really helpful in teaching my son, my 20-month-old toddler, about self-care is Have You Filled a Bucket Today? And it's a guide to daily happiness for kids. It's by Carol McLeod. It's a really great book. It's very simple. It just sort of makes the idea of self-care concrete, and it talks about being able to fill our own buckets and others' buckets and ways to do that. So I usually read this to my son like once a week, and I just try to explain to him, that mommy is exercising so that she can take care of her body. It helps her to feel happy. It helps her to feel calm. We'll usually stretch together in the morning. It's a habit that I developed with him when he was really young. My son is actually quite fond of yoga because he's been watching me do yoga since he was just a few months old. So when he used to do tummy time, I would do yoga, and we would literally do that side by side. So quite often you can find him in yoga position. We'll often do kids yoga together, or we will meditate together. And as much as his 20-month brain allows him to stay calm and still, often lie down on the ground with him. I'll put a blanket on top of him and I'll ask him to be still and silent, and for us to feel calm together. And I'll put my hand on his chest. I'll tell him to put his hand on mine, and we take long, deep breaths together. Sometimes he's not even able to take one breath. Sometimes we get to 5 or 6 deep breaths. So it's a start, but it's important to start young so that it's something that they are able to grow with and to improve upon as they get older. I also explained to him that it's important to take care of our bodies and to eat healthy, why we don't watch TV while we're eating, because he has noticed that some kids at restaurants will be allowed to watch iPads, or their parents will give them their cell phones. And we explained to him that when we're eating, we need to focus our energy on eating so that our body can use all of its energy to digest the food and make us stronger, rather than using that energy to watch shows and to do other things. So he gets it. It still frustrates him at times that he can't do what he wants to when he's eating, or that he has to stay still, but he usually is very cooperative, and I find that this is helping him to learn about self-care, and I practice with him, like I said. So we'll stretch together almost every morning, and he likes to do these things with me because it's a way for us to be active together and for him to use the unlimited energy that he seems to be blessed with. I also just find time on a daily basis to laugh with my kids, to make up silly dances, to make silly sounds, just to have a good time. Laughing has been found to not only reduce stress hormones, but to increase the production of feel-good hormones. I feel that I'm a lot more calm and a lot happier after we, make up a silly dance, or make animal noises together, or jump around, or just dance and have a dance party. We do things to get our bodies moving, because getting our bodies moving is one of the easiest way to produce feel-good hormones. That's pretty much about it. I hope you enjoyed today's video. I really enjoyed making this video because self-care is a topic that is near and dear to my heart. Having chosen to work in a helping profession, self-care is critical. Without daily self-care, weekly self-care, monthly self-care practices that I take very seriously, I would not have been able to work for over a decade in the field that I work in as a social worker and child and family therapist, due to the intensity of what I'm exposed to. And now, being a mother of 2 boys under the age of 2, knowing how to take care of myself is a great asset, as it helps me to stay refreshed, it helps me to feel rejuvenated, and it helps me to do the best job that I can at being the best mama that I can be. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up and share. Comment below to let me know how you take care of yourselves and any self-care practices that you incorporate throughout your daily routines, so that I can try them out, as well as anyone else watching this video. And if you like content like this and would like to see more videos like this about how we can be more kind to ourselves and mindful of meeting our own needs, as well as kindful towards the world we live in, please subscribe to my channel and turn the alert button on so that you can be notified when I post new videos. Thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful day. Bye.